Well, I'm excited to be here today with Kelli Worrall, who is the author of this month's study on women of the Old Testament. Kelli, good to see you.
Good to see you, Jamie.
And tell us just a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, I am a professor in the communications program at Moody, and this is my 23rd year now.
Wow.
Hard to believe, I know.
Yeah.
And then about 2.5 years ago, I stepped into the role as field chair of the Music and Media Arts Division. So kind of overseeing both our music programs as well as our communication programs.
So this is our second study on women of the Old Testament. Tell us, we'll backtrack just a minute. How did you get interested in telling these stories?
Long story short, just fell in love with how Jesus loved women in the Gospels. I had been posting just little devotionals several days a week and went through women of the New Testament and the Gospels. And I thought, you know what, I'm interested to take a similar look at women in the Old Testament. And so went back to Genesis, started with Eve, sat there for a long time. I felt like there is so much more to learn from her than I ever took the time to do. And then I just kind of kept moving through the Old Testament, looking at the different women.
That's one of the strengths you have, I think, in your devotional writing, or that I've noticed, is that you take these women's stories, and some of them we're very familiar with, but you hone in on the human aspect of them so well, like their commonality with us, like that they're enduring struggles that we struggle with too. Like, you know, there's just so many but loss and disappointment and fear and all of those things. You kind of pick those out, which I really appreciated.
Yes, I mean, that's the amazing thing, like you said, is to see him work in these very real human beings' lives to bring about his will and show his grace, show his character, show his love, show his justice, his holiness. You know, it's all there in these narratives on full display.
When readers, usually I like to say what readers can take away from the study, or what you hope they'll take away from the study. Do you have a couple things that you've thought of?
Yeah, I think kind of what we talked about earlier, to just really appreciate the role that these women played in these Old Testament narratives and in God's redemptive narrative as a whole. Like we were saying earlier, they aren't necessarily always featured or really examined in any depth. And so I hope that that's the case, that people appreciate that, and perhaps it gives them a lens to consider these particular narratives from a different point of view. And then just what that means for us, you know, that through their stories, we're able to reflect on our own journey and how God is working through us and working in us, and how we can continue to follow him into the calling that he puts on our lives in stronger ways, more focused ways, making better choices each day, committing to him every step of our lives. So I think those would be the couple things I would mention.
Yeah. Well, we're excited. This is going to be a great study, and it partners with one we did last March. So if you're curious, you can look back at the March Old Testament, Women of the Old Testament Part 1. But yes, we're going to read about lots of women, and we hope you'll join us. And thanks, Kelli, for talking with us for a bit.
Thank you for having me.